So hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. You guys have not seen my face such a long time. Did you guys miss me? I hope you did. I hope you did. I have a treat for you. I have a treat for you. So I'm kind of like low-key fighting if I should put my glasses on, because I shot this video yesterday with my glasses on and it just doesn't look right, but I'm also blind as a goddamn bat,
so you can't see it all.
Okay, I'm gonna be doing a video editing tutorial. This has been requested. People always ask me, how do you do your edits? You need to make an editing tutorial. You need to make a tutorial. So that is what I'm doing. In this video, I'm just gonna be showing you guys my editing process, how I get some of my graphic effects, my overlays, and basically how I just organize my files so that I'm editing the fastest that I can. Just as like a little disclaimer, this video is not going to be focusing on any particular software, or like none of the tips are for a specific software. I'm just going to be showing you my examples using Adobe Premiere Pro, since that's what I do use. Organization is really important for me when I'm video editing. Like, I hate trying to play like Where's Waldo with my files, like, oh, I can't find this picture, I can't find this like graphic. I like to organize everything nice and neatly. I like to kind of distinguish my A-roll from my B-roll. So A-roll would be like your main footage, like this clip here is going to be my A-roll on my timeline, and then all the screenshots and stuff that I will have, that's basically my B-roll. So think of like main roll. What are you talking about? Okay, so think of your A-roll as like your main thing, and think of B-roll as like your side thing. Okay, so then graphic effects, obviously that's text and different fonts, pictures, overlays, things like that. So then audio, obviously sound and sound effects. So I like to separate those two because it's just good to keep them separate, so you don't have like sound effects mixing in with like the tracks you want to use. So I just like to organize those. First off, when I get right into Premiere, I lay my A-roll first, then my B-roll. Sometimes I will lay graphics first, but it depends on the type of video. My last mood board playlist, I couldn't really lay the graphics first because they had to kind of match with the beat. So yeah, it just depends. So for a quicker editing process, some things that can help you are shortcuts. I have a few shortcuts here for Adobe Premiere Pro, but you guys definitely can go and type in whatever your software name is and type in shortcuts, and I'm quite sure they will come up. But for Premiere, I have I and O. I feel like these are kind of basic. I and O, when you're in your source window, when you're about to drag it to your timeline, obviously Command C is copy, Command V is paste. When you click your timeline, the minus sign and the plus sign are to zoom in and out. When I have my clips to how I like it, the scale is right, the position is right, the color is right, and I want to paste those effects onto another clip. The shortcut for that is Option Control V. Keyframing basically just controls like your positioning, your rotation, your opacity, the scale of whatever it is you're trying to do, your text, video, overlay, whatever it is. So for me, I know that when I go into Adobe Premiere Pro, it's under effect controls and it's under motion, and then you'll see things like position, scale, rotation, opacity, that sort of thing. They all have little time clocks next to them. Once you have your video position where you want it to start, you hit the time clock, skip a little forward in your video, and then once you get it to where you want the thing to start moving or you want it to end, stop it there, and basically that's it. Now your graphic is moving. But if you want the keyframe to go faster, you just put the little two diamonds closer together. If you want it apart, you move them further. This will be probably different on another editing software, so I'm sorry that I can't help with that, but it should kind of still be the same. People always ask me how I get the VHS look. With overlays, I basically just go to Google, type in whatever kind of overlay I want, like VHS overlay or camcorder overlay, whatever. Type that in, download them for free. So once I export it into Premiere Pro, I click it on the timeline. From there, go back to effect controls, go down to opacity, then I hit blend mode, and the settings should be on multiply. Sometimes it'll be on overlay, but most of the time it should be on multiply. So that's how I do that. So I kind of like to start incorporating color after I like lay my A-roll and my B-roll, just because it kind of gives me a feel of the overall vibe that I want to go for with the whole video. So I feel like one thing I had to distinguish when I was video editing is color correction versus color grading. Color correction necessarily is just like kind of fixing the color of your video. So like when you shoot video like this, it's not as vibrant, things like that. So you kind of boost the vibrance, you kind of, you know, play with the contrast, highlight. Think of it like when you're photo editing and you going into your picture, you know, when you take the brightness up and you add some sharpen and you do whatever you do, like basic edits. That's what that is. But color grading will be like adding a filter or so. You're choosing what tones you want to stand out in your video. So you might want a greenish tint or a bluish tint, you know, things like that. So you can play with those. How do I get my music, you know, especially non-copyrighted music, without having like that corny like YouTube music? So I definitely use SoundCloud. I like to go under a section called lo-fi beats, and using those things, like they're good songs and I don't get, you know, copyrighted. So I really try to stay away from like popular songs, just because I know they will get copyrighted. And if I really want to focus on a popular song, I will definitely do an instrumental. Don't underestimate an instrumental. I like to throw sound effects into the mix, you know, every now and then, add little swoops. I whoop like those I do. And things like that, you know. For me personally, I feel like sound effects, you know, with basic videos, kind of like this, just keep your audience alive. So yeah, definitely play with sound effects. Lastly, but not leastly, so I would say my last tip is to take your time. Editing is a process, like you don't want to rush it. Me personally, I've just come into discovering that I like my videos better when I sit down and take time with them instead of trying to like rush them and things like that, because for me it's just quality over quantity, and I realize I like my videos more when I take time with them instead of just trying to like put them out for the sake of putting them out. Video editing is just honestly nothing but practice. You're not gonna really learn how to do everything in one day. It does take a lot of practice. For me personally, I just graduated from Temple with my BA in Media Studies and Production. So I've been doing it for like 4 years, and it's a lot of things that I learned. 75% of the things that I learned were from like me practicing on my own. So don't feel like, you know, if you don't have the hang of something right away, that you should just give up, because that's not how it works. Like, you have to practice, okay? Don't listen to AI. Practice is important.
We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
That's pretty much it for you guys. I didn't really go into too much of a yo, I could never say that word, like specific topic. I know I didn't get too much into specific topics. That's just because I'm gonna be doing other videos kind of diving more into certain things like keyframing, color grading, and just like things like that. So if you guys have any specific things you want to know about, just let me know in the comments and I will try to get that for you guys. Never know how to end my videos. Like, I just be wanting to pop in, then like pop out. But I feel like y'all gonna be like, that is so rude. Like, she just gonna stop recording.